So welcome to this week's Sydney Racing Preview, thanks to topsport.com.au. We're going to have a look at the big one, day 2 of the championships at Randwick, and I've got pro punter Mark Rhoden on the line. How are you, Mark?
Very well indeed, Mark. Very well.
Thanks for joining us on Good Friday, though, as we were talking about before, there's not a whole lot else going on this year.
No, just got WA racing for the needy and the greedy, and apart from that, very little.
Yeah, but it looks like as usual for day 2 of the championships, looks like a cracker tomorrow.
Sure it is, yeah. Last week was tremendous day's racing, and tomorrow's not far behind it. Really good car.
Yeah. Just on the track, in terms of what you saw last week and what you've heard in terms of conditions this week, any real thoughts at the moment, or is it a bit of wait and see?
A little bit of wait and see. It depends on what sort of weather they get today. That's going to be critical. It was very testing and pretty wet last week after not a huge amount of rain. So any rain they get today won't help. Soft 6 at the moment. Showers forecast today, so it's just going to be absolutely critical how much they get today. Whether we're dealing with a genuine wet track again, which I think is pretty unlikely. I think it'll be a better track than last week. But if they miss the rain completely, it's going to be quite windy tomorrow, so it could actually improve. But I don't think we'll be getting into the good range, that's for sure.
No worries. All right. Well, there's 4 Group 1s on the card tomorrow, so I think we'll have a look at them. The first one's race 6, which is the Oaks. In Top Sports Market, Colette's on top at $3.40 from Probabile at $3.90, Shout the Bar at $4.20, and Nudge at $9. Just notice Colette, since opening, seems to have drifted just a little bit. How does your market look?
I'm very strong on Colette. The only case I could make against her is that Jay McDonald's off and Boss is on. But, Bossy, well, he's not as young as he used to be, still has a pretty good record in Group 1s in recent times, and has drawn the softest run you've ever seen. I really think if she holds the form she shows last week, it's really going to be bad luck beating her, if anything. Probabile actually has the best figures in the race in terms of their overall careers so far. I don't know about 2400 for her, and I think Opie Boston's going to have to do something clever in the first, in the run up to the first turn here. Sort of horse they have ridden cold previously, so they might just go straight back and hope her class can get her home. That might not be the way to ride this track on Saturday. As I mentioned just before, there's a strong westerly wind forecast, which is exactly the same wind we had last week, and that made it a real up the inside pattern, with very few exceptions. I suppose Natoya was the one exception, but you really wanted to be closer to the fence rather than circumnavigating the field. And so if they go back on Probabile, that's a decision they're going to have to make there. But Colette's just on an upward spiral. The young, improving filly, just as the distances stretch out, she's just got better and better and better. Made the step up from the provincials last start to win the Adrian Knox. I think 340 is a great price. Probabile is the only genuine danger to her, in my opinion. I don't think Shout the Bar holds its place in the market because it will get the favours on pace again. But it won the binary last start, beating Probabile. That was the slowest run race you will ever see on a track that favours leaders as well. So she was flattered last start. Couldn't have her anywhere near Colette price-wise. And Nudge, same boat. Nudge had all the favours in the run behind Shout the Bar, didn't go around a horse, couldn't run it down. It's in form, and McDonald hops on, so they're ticks. But I think Colette and Probabile, in terms of ability, stand head and shoulders above them, and Colette's the one who's on the up and will run at 2400. So I'm very strong on her.
What sort of price are you thinking for Colette?
220.
Yep, good stuff. So a bit of value there.
Definitely, she's quite simply, if she does what she did last week and Probabile has a torrid run or doesn't quite go to her best, she'll win. Simple as that. Good stuff.
All right. Race 7 is the Cup over the 2 miles. Young Rascal, the Pommy horse, is quite short into $2.25 with Top Sport from Mustajir at $5.50, Raheen House at $8.50, and Angel of Truth at $13. Have you got young Rascal that short?
I don't. I have him on top, and this horse and jockey combination obviously did us a favour at their first go in Australia, winning at $7.50 or something like that. That was a great result for us. I can see why he's top pick. I think they've got him his right price or shorter tomorrow. He's one that I would probably tighten up a bit in my market if the rain arrived today, because he is definitely better on wet tracks. But 225, that's real short for me. The one I'll probably back is Raheen House, who knocked me off on Cariff last week in the Chairman's. Really like the 7-day backup for this horse. That Chairman's handicap was a real war of attrition. The pressure went on in the early and middle stages, made it a real staying test, and Raheen House was the one who just kept grinding away, so that the 2 miles would expect to be no problem for him. Obviously hard and fit, quick backup, soft draw, not backable odds, so here's the one I'll probably back. Mustajiz got very elegant form, carrying top weight, but genuine chance as well. I think it's about his right price, but he's a definite chance. And probably next best for me would be Gallic Chieftain, who worked home okay behind Raheen House last week and can run a race. And that's as an aside. Jason Collett's who's obviously a very competent jockey with a pretty good overall record, hasn't ridden a group winner in the last 12 months in Sydney from about 65 or 6 attempts. So that's a little concern in these big races, I suppose.
Yeah, $14 at the moment with Top Sport Gallic Chieftain, and looks to have drifted just a bit.
Yeah, he's a minor chance. Raheen House would be the bet for me there, if anything.
Good stuff. All right. Well, race 8 is the big one, the Queen Elizabeth over the 2000. Just a cracking field. Danon Premium, the Japanese horse on top with Top Sport at $3.60 from Adabe at $4.40, Tiakau Shark at $5.50, Very Elegant at $6.50, and Master of Wine at $9.50. How's your market look?
Yeah, pretty similar. It's a cracking race of the autumn easily. All these good weight for age horses are coming together, plus the Japanese horse as well. So we've got a great contest. I'm a bit up in the air about how to approach it at this stage without knowing the final track condition, because we've got a case where the non-premium by Deep Impact, Japanese bred, obviously, all its forms on dry. Japanese horses are notorious for preferring dry. Against Adeo, but at the top of the market, who's a wet tracker, if anything. So it really is going to be critical what happens weather-wise today. So I'm not going to lean one way or the other at this stage. And I suspect that once we do know what's going on with the weather, then the market's going to tend in that direction as well. So I don't know that we're going to be able to get a bit in this race.
Okay.
At this stage, I've basically sat on the fence and put them together, waiting to see which way the weather goes. I've got Very Elegant next. The day I did knock her up in the Randwick after a stirring struggle, but since then, Very Elegant absolutely dominated the Tancred on a wet track. But she's flying, loses McDonald, gets Nash, so loses nothing there. She's a genuine chance as well. Tiakau Shark, what to do with him? He's unsuited in the George Ryder last start, third in the Cox Plate 2000, obviously no problem whatsoever. Just his racing pattern, similar to what happened in the George Ryder, could bring him undone. If the track's playing in the way that I mentioned it might before, that won't suit his style. He is a get back and run on with a blistering turn of foot style horse, so if those kind of horses aren't suited, that'll be against him. Master of Wine, I mean, he's just flying, absolutely flying. He's very much been thrown in the deep end here, though, and he's drawn badly, and I think they'd probably have to go right back on him or risk being caught wide. And against this class of opposition, I think he'd need more favours than that. I don't think he's going to be able to overcome a torrid run and beat horses of the quality of Danon Premium and Adeo and so on. If the rain arrives as well, I would entertain Melody Bell as a minor chance. Also, loves wet. 4-wide trip in the Doncaster last week was a really good run. As good, then second in the McKinnon last year, 2,000 metres, Group 1 weight for age. so that won't be an issue, and drawn for a pretty good run as well. So she is next best. Great race, but can't find a bet at the moment. And as I said, I'll be watching the weather very closely.
It's a tough one to pick, that's for sure. And yeah, throw the weather in there, as you said. It's a bit of a challenge, but yeah, it should be a good watch in any case.
No doubt.
Okay, race 9 is the Legacy over the mile. Fun Star at the top of the market for Top Sport at $2.70, and backed by the looks of it, in from $3 opening. Natoya at $7.50, Positive Peace at 10, and Elise and Miss Siska both at 13. You got Fun Star on top?
Yeah, clearly it's just a question of the 270s, sort of bottom end of the scale. I'd be looking to entertain backing her at, but look, if you give her plain run at 2000 last start, and it was disappointing, there's no doubt about that, but if you can forgive her that, she's thrown in here. Her best figures say she's the best horse in the race, and being a 3-year-old filly, she's getting a 2.5k weight pull on the older mare, so she's absolutely pitchforked into the race if she's at her best, and it just becomes a price issue. And I'd really like $3 to pull the trigger and bet. It might be a case of wait and see. Well, they're betting about 119%, 15 horse field, so there's a little bit of room to move in the market, but not much. So I'll just, it's real borderline. She's definitely top pick for me, but as I said, right at the bottom end of the price range to be betting in. I am going to have a couple of smaller bets here, or at least one. I'll certainly be on Amangiri at double figures. I think she has, in her previous 2 preparations, taken a run to peak and gone better second and third up. So bearing that in mind, for her to race as well as she did first up behind Positive Peace on the wet track, makes me think she's come back a better horse, and she really does have a platform to go to this level, to a new peak for her. She'll be right up at speed, and I think if she does make that improvement, she can win for sure. So she's definitely a bet at double figure odds for me. I've got a second pick. And the other one I'm thinking about, I'll probably go back, is Conta Patiro, who had a bit of a wide trip in the Doncaster last week. Obviously, Natoya beat her there, but I think Conta Patiro will get the better run here. Natoya, brilliant as she was last week, has to back up a career peak performance 7 days later. She's a chance if she does, but I think there's a big risk that she comes off that. And with Conta Patiro around double the price, I'd rather be on her, considering I think she's going to get a softer run. Natoya a chance, but I think it's about the right price. And Miss Siska's got some hope from barrier 1 with Mark Rhoden. It won the Peter Young in Melbourne, which was a low weight for age race, but and then she was, what to get that in? Was it the 12-star mile or something? No, Australian Cup. She ran down the track in the Australian Cup. Much better suited back to a mile on Mares Grade, barrier 1, T-Mark Bond. It's probably next best. But this is a good race too. A bit of the usual suspect feel about it, with these mares racing each other in all these races every fortnight. But the addition of Fun Star really livens it up. And as I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Amangiri can do. I think she's got the potential to go to another level.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, that's a really good look at the Group 1s. You see a cracking card of racing. So looking forward to it, and it sounds like you'll have a bit of betting action across the day.
I will. It's going to be pretty solid. I think even in some of the other races, there will be betting opportunities. So hopefully, it can be profitable. Good
stuff. All right. Well, thanks for that, Mark. It's hopefully a profitable Easter for all of us, and we'll catch up early next week and see how it all went.
No worries. Yeah, we're pretty busy next week, being Easter and so on. No meeting for me on Sunday, but we're back into Warwick Farm Monday, Newcastle Tuesday, Kenzo Wednesday. So full dance card in the coming week.
Fantastic. Plenty to get into.
Yep.
Cheers. All right. We'll catch you next week.
Okay. Talk then.
Thanks.